Have you ever felt a tightness in your chest while talking to someone close? As if there's something unsaid, a sidelong glance, a compliment that feels more like disguised criticism? And even though this person is right there beside you smiling, something inside you screams that something's wrong. The truth is, it's often not distance that hurts, but the silent falsehood of someone nearby. According to Buddhist psychology, the energy we carry and receive reveals far more than words ever could. When someone harbors hidden envy, resentment, or bitterness, it slips out in their actions, in the subtext, in their eyes. This video isn't about paranoia, it's about perception. Often, you're blaming yourself for feeling uneasy, wondering if you're being too dramatic, when in reality, your intuition is trying to warn you. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that nothing happens by chance, especially those uncomfortable feelings that arise when we're around certain people. Behind some jokes, playful remarks, or silences, there lurk deep, dark emotions that go unspoken, but your body and soul feel them. Here we'll show you 8 clear and highly recognizable signs that someone close to you may be hiding negative feelings toward you. This isn't just about overt hatred, but about resentment, jealousy, competition, or envy disguised as affection. By understanding these signs, you'll be able to protect your energy, act with greater wisdom, and, above all, stop blaming yourself for feeling what you feel. So, take a deep breath, because as you watch this video, you might realize that certain behaviors were never your fault. Before we dive into the signs, if this topic is already resonating with you, I ask you to please subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and give this video a like. This helps spread this content to more people who, like you, may be surrounded by false affection. And if you'd like, comment below with where you're watching from. It's a way for me to see how far this message has traveled and to feel that we're together, even from a distance, on this journey of awareness and energy protection. You know that kind of comment that comes with a smile but leaves a bitter taste in your soul? It's that joke about your body, your clothes, or your past mistakes. I'm just kidding, relax. But deep down, you feel there's nothing funny about it. People who harbor negative feelings toward you often hide them in socially acceptable forms of aggression, sarcasm, irony, the affectionate nickname that humiliates, or that repetitive jab that always paints you as the over-the-top, dumb, or difficult one. The cruelest part is that often outsiders don't notice. It all seems normal, as if you're just close enough to tease each other. But you know it's not a joke because it hurts. And when you try to stand up for yourself, you're accused of being too sensitive, of not knowing how to laugh at yourself. This emotional manipulation is one of the quietest mechanisms of disguised contempt. Buddhist teachings remind us that words are an expression of one's inner state. When someone repeatedly hits you with negative words, even with a smile, what they're emitting isn't lightness, it's spiritual poison. And this poison, when it builds up, can sicken your energetic field, undermine your self-esteem, and weaken your bonds with those who truly matter. These people don't openly hate you that would require courage. Hidden hatred is a cowardly feeling, operating in the shadows, trying to diminish you until you doubt yourself. They're envious, resentful, or harboring unresolved competitiveness. Instead of dealing with their own emotions, they prefer to attack you subtly, always with the excuse of closeness. It takes a lot of awareness to see when a relationship has stopped being safe. Not every shared laugh comes from a pure heart. Sometimes, laughter is a mask. And when you start noticing that you always leave an encounter with a certain person feeling worse than when you arrived, your energy drained, self-esteem bruised, and negative thoughts about yourself swirling, something is deeply wrong. Don't ignore your intuition. If your body and soul are signaling discomfort, pause and observe. It's easy to believe you're overreacting, especially when this person is close, like an old friend, a sibling, or a coworker. But no shared history justifies the habit of hurting you in silence. And most importantly, you don't have to accept jokes that hurt just because they come from someone you've known for a long time. True friendship, true affection, never comes with disguised humiliation. Stay alert, sometimes contempt dresses up as laughter. Have you ever noticed that some people seem visibly uncomfortable when something good happens to you? You share something that made you happy, a work achievement, a personal project, a positive change in your life, and their response is always lukewarm, indifferent, or even subtly critical. It might come as a joke, implying you're full of yourself, or a hollow, oh cool, that shuts the topic down immediately. This isn't about humility or simplicity. It's about someone who feels uneasy with your growth. People who secretly feel envy or anger toward you rarely manage to celebrate your victories wholeheartedly. Deep down, your progress confronts the frustrations they carry and refuse to admit. Instead of facing this, they prefer to diminish those who are rising, trying to maintain an illusion of emotional balance. It's as if unconsciously they think, if I'm not doing well, you shouldn't be either. This behavior often goes unnoticed because it's cloaked in sarcasm, realistic advice, or camouflaged concern. But over time, you realize that whenever something good happens to you, their energy shifts. The conversation loses its spark, their gaze avoids yours, and their words, even if smiling, carry a faint venom. Your light bothers them because it illuminates a shadow they don't want to see. According to Buddhist psychology, this behavior stems from a deep identification with the ego and difficulty rejoicing in others' happiness. For those still trapped in comparison and competition, seeing someone flourish can feel like a threat, not out of explicit malice, but from an internal state of scarcity where another's success feels like their own defeat. It's important to note that this isn't always conscious. Sometimes the person genuinely believes they're being honest or grounded, but the emotional frequency behind their actions speaks louder than words. There's a pattern. Every time you shine, they try to dim your light, even if subtly. Living with such people can erode your confidence over time, because it's not direct criticism, but small pinpricks that wound slowly. Before you know it, you're doubting your own worth, over-explaining yourself, seeking permission to be happy. That's never healthy. You don't need to cut off everyone who doesn't cheer for your successes, but you do need to recognize who strengthens you and who weakens you. True friendship is one that roots for you, even when they're not at their best. If someone can't watch you win without discomfort, maybe the problem was never you. Have you noticed how some people are amazing when you're alone together, but change completely in a group? That friend who listens to you seems close, even generous, but as soon as someone else shows up, they distance themselves, dim your shine, cut you off in conversations, or act like your connection is irrelevant. This is more common and more painful than it seems. This shift in behavior is a clear sign that deep down, this person has unresolved conflicts about you. Maybe they admire something in you, but don't want others to notice. Maybe they're jealous of your light, your authenticity, and try to trim you in front of others. It's as if your presence overshadows something they want to project, and that bothers them deeply. Such people often live in an internal game of comparison. Buddhism teaches that the ego seeks to protect and elevate itself, but when someone else shines naturally, an insecure ego feels threatened. So, it acts, not directly, but subtly, covertly. This public distancing is one of the most visible signs. This person might still maintain a bond with you, but they choose their contexts carefully. Alone, they praise you, open up, share. But in a group, they act like you're just another person. You feel it in your body, the discomfort, the sudden silence, the glances that exclude you. The pain of being diminished by someone who claims to care about you. Sometimes, this is hidden under excuses. Oh, I'm just more reserved around others. I don't like showing off friendships. But deep down, you sense it. It's not about discretion. It's about fear. Fear of you shining brighter. Fear of losing their space. Fear that others might like you more than them. It's a tough truth to face. Those who truly love you show you off with pride, include you in conversations, and value your presence even when others are around. They want the world to see what makes you special. When someone hides that or treats you coldly in public, it's because something deeper and unresolved exists between you. If you've experienced this, know you're not overreacting. The perception you had was real. Sometimes envy, fear, or insecurity come disguised as quiet friendship. Recognizing this is a crucial step to protecting yourself. Let's move forward. Have you ever noticed how certain people close to you seem to absorb who you are but never mention you? It's that coworker, friend, or even relative who observes your tastes, your style, your interests, your words, and suddenly starts mimicking them, as if they had the same ideas spontaneously. At first, you might find it amusing. It might even seem like admiration. But as time goes on, this pattern starts to bother you, and for good reason. Imitation is one thing, but erasing you from the story is something else entirely. This person hears you talk about a book, an idea, a new concept. 2 weeks later, they're recommending the same thing to others, as if it were their own discovery. Or you share a new habit you're adopting, like meditation, morning reading, fasting, and without ever mentioning you, they become practically an evangelist for it, taking all the credit. The frustration hits when you realize that, beyond not being acknowledged, you're ignored when you try to continue the conversation or dive deeper into the topic. They no longer need you, just what you brought. In Buddhist psychology, this behavior can be seen as a reflection of silent envy. The person admires your essence, but unable to cope with feeling lesser, they try to absorb what's valuable about you without recognizing its source. They want the shine, but not you. It's as if they're saying, I like what you bring, but I can't value you for it because that would put me beneath you. So they drain you quietly, hidden behind coincidence. This kind of imitation isn't healthy because it's not an exchange. It's not about being inspired and building something new together. It's about siphoning off your originality to feel better about themselves. Worse still is when this person starts getting public recognition for something that, deep down, came from you. It feels like invisible theft, and you might feel crazy for thinking about it, as if you're overreacting. But you're not. Your intuition is right. Over time, this silent repetition can lead to emotional exhaustion. It's as if you're constantly being copied but never acknowledged. Your creative energy drains without return. You feel used, unseen. That's the big sign. When your presence inspires, but your person is discarded. They want what you have, but they don't want to deal with the fact that it came from you. Such people often struggle to give compliments. They can't say, that's amazing, you taught me something. Their pride, wounded ego, or feelings of inferiority block that acknowledgement. Instead, they subtly silence you, talk over you, take the lead. And if you confront them, you risk seeming paranoid, because it's all done so subtly it appears normal. But it's not. Healthy relationships are built on exchange, recognition, and gratitude. When you truly inspire someone, they want to be with you, not be you. They value you, thank you, invite you to share. If you feel someone is taking everything you are without giving you space, attention, or even a thank you, you might be dealing with someone who doesn't openly hate you but secretly can't stand to see you shine. Have you ever tried sharing something important about your life, a success, a worry, a moment of joy, and suddenly the conversation shifts entirely to the other person? It's as if your moment never gets a chance to shine. You start talking about a project that excites you, and they immediately interrupt with, wow, that reminds me of when I did something like that. Or you vent about a struggle, and they quickly bring up a worse or more interesting story about themselves. This habit of redirecting focus is a clear sign that someone may be harboring negative feelings, like envy or competition, even if disguised as empathy. This isn't just a lack of attention, it's a pattern. People who constantly steer the conversation back to themselves often can't handle you taking center stage, even for a moment. Deep down, they may feel uneasy with you shining, expressing yourself, or being heard. Buddhist psychology teaches us that the ego, when fixated on validation, feels threatened when someone else gets attention. So instead of listening, they need to steal the spotlight, even subtly, to feel in control. Sometimes, this is disguised as support. They might start with, wow, that's cool, or I get what you're going through. But soon the conversation turns into a monologue about their experiences. You realize your story got swallowed, and what was supposed to be a moment of connection becomes an implicit competition. The most frustrating part is that you end up feeling invisible, as if your emotions, achievements, or struggles don't matter as much as theirs. That emptiness is a sign that the energy exchange isn't healthy. What makes this sign so painful is that it can be mistaken for enthusiasm or closeness. After all, they're talking animatedly, sharing something similar to what you said, so it seems like they're engaged, right? Wrong. When it's a constant pattern, you start noticing there's no room for you in the conversation. Your voice is drowned out, your experience is minimized, and they seem more interested in asserting themselves than understanding you. That's the ego at work, trying to dim your light to keep theirs burning. In the Buddhist view, true connection comes from compassionate listening and genuine presence. When someone truly listens, you feel your story matters. Your emotions have value. But when they only use your words as a springboard to talk about themselves, it reveals an inability to rejoice with you or truly embrace you. It's a sign of deep insecurity, manifesting as a need to always be the center, even if it means erasing you. The impact on your energy field is huge. You might leave such a conversation feeling exhausted, devalued, even confused. Did I talk too much? Was my story not that interesting? These thoughts are traps planted by the other person's ego. The truth is, people who redirect focus aren't ready to see you shine because it confronts their own insecurities. Unconsciously, they'd rather silence you than face that. Protecting your energy means recognizing this pattern and setting boundaries. You don't need to fight or confront directly, but you can start choosing who to share your most precious stories with. Save your vulnerability for those who know how to listen, who give you space, because a true relationship is an exchange, not a competition. If someone always needs to turn your light into their shadow, it might be time to rethink their place in your life. Have you ever received advice that, on the surface, seemed well-meaning, but left you with a heavy feeling or doubt about yourself? It's that comment that starts with, "I just want what's best for you," or, "If it were me, I'd do it differently." It might be about your career, your relationship, your appearance, even small daily choices like what you eat or how you spend your time. These criticisms, disguised as concern, are a classic sign of someone who, deep down, may be harboring resentment or envy, trying to control or diminish you without seeming cruel. These people rarely criticize openly or aggressively, because that would be easy to spot and confront. Instead, they use a friendly tone, often with a smile or a concerned expression. "Don't you think you're taking too big a risk with this new project?" Or, "Are you really happy with the person you chose?" These phrases seem harmless, but they carry a subtle venom. They plant seeds of insecurity, making you question your decisions, your worth, your ability to choose what's best for you. In Buddhist psychology, constant criticism, even if disguised, reflects a heart trapped in judgment. When someone feels envy or discomfort with your path, they may unconsciously try to pull you down to a place where you doubt yourself. This is especially true when your choices reflect courage, authenticity, or a step toward growth. Your boldness bothers them because it highlights the limitations they haven't yet faced within themselves. What makes this sign so dangerous is that it can be mistaken for genuine care. After all, who hasn't received advice from someone close? But there's a clear difference. True advice seeks to strengthen you, to help you grow, while disguised criticism aims to weaken you, even if the person doesn't admit it to themselves. You feel it in your body, a tightness, a sense of being judged, a need to justify or explain yourself. That's your intuition signaling something's off. Over time, these subtle criticisms can erode your confidence. You start hesitating before making decisions, wondering if you're on the right path, seeking external validation. That's exactly what the person, consciously or not, wants, to keep you in a place of doubt, where they feel safer or superior. It's a delicate but deeply harmful emotional game that can make you question your very essence. Protecting yourself requires clarity and firmness. Start observing. Has this person ever praised you without reservations? Have they ever celebrated your choices without trying to improve them? If the answer is no, you may be dealing with someone who, deep down, can't stand to see you confident in your decisions. It's not about explicit malice, but an internal discomfort they project onto you. And you don't need to carry that weight. Buddhist wisdom teaches us to listen to ourselves before listening to others. Your inner peace is the greatest guide for your choices. If someone is constantly making you doubt your path with advice that judges more than supports, it might be time to limit the space they have in your life. Choose to be around those who encourage you to be yourself, without fear, without guilt, without doubt. Have you ever tried saying no or setting a boundary with someone close, and the response was an awkward silence, a passive-aggressive remark, or even an accusation that you're being selfish? People who harbor negative feelings toward you often react poorly when you establish your boundaries. They may make you feel guilty, as if protecting your energy, time, or peace is a personal attack on them. This is a powerful sign that the relationship may be laced with resentment or emotional manipulation. When you say, "I can't right now," or "I need some time for myself," they might respond with phrases like, "Wow, you're so busy now, huh?" Or "You didn't used to be like this." These words, often delivered with a tone of hurt or sarcasm, are designed to make you feel wrong for prioritizing yourself. Deep down, this reaction reveals that the person doesn't accept your autonomy over your own life because it threatens the control they want to have over you. In the Buddhist view, setting boundaries is an act of self-compassion and compassion for others. It's a way to honor your energy and create more balanced relationships. But for someone trapped in ego, your boundaries may be seen as rejection or a loss of power. If they feel threatened by envy, resentment, or competition, they might interpret your independence as an affront, forcing them to face their own insecurities or emotional neediness. What makes this sign so insidious is that it puts you in an emotional trap. You want to be kind, to maintain harmony, so you end up giving in, even when it harms you. But every time you sacrifice your boundaries to please this person, you lose a piece of your inner peace. And they, consciously or not, benefit from this imbalance because it keeps you in a place where they feel more comfortable. This behavior is often accompanied by emotional manipulation. The person might use silence, a stern face, or even tears to make you feel like you're the problem. Phrases like, "I just wanted to help," or "I miss you," are common. But in this context, they serve to trap you in a cycle of guilt. You start wondering if you're really selfish, if you're being unfair, when in reality, you're just trying to protect yourself. Protecting your energy requires courage to maintain your boundaries, even if it causes discomfort. Buddhist psychology reminds us that true compassion doesn't mean erasing yourself for others, but finding a balance where everyone can grow. If someone reacts badly to your no, it says more about their insecurities than about you. It's not your responsibility to fix their wounded ego at the expense of your peace. Observe how you feel after setting a boundary. If the person respects and understands you, even if it's initially difficult, that's a sign of a healthy relationship. But if they insist on making you feel guilty, use passive-aggressive remarks, or try to manipulate you into backtracking, it's time to reconsider their role in your life. Your energy is precious, and you have the right to protect it without guilt. Have you ever noticed that some people never take responsibility when they hurt you? Maybe they said something that wounded you, ignored you at a crucial moment, or acted disrespectfully. When you bring it up, the response is always a generic excuse like, "Sorry if you felt that way," or "That wasn't my intention." These aren't genuine apologies, they're ways to deflect blame, making you carry the weight of the discomfort while they absolve themselves of responsibility. A true apology requires humility, acknowledgement, and a real desire to make amends. But people who harbor negative feelings, like envy or resentment, often can't manage this. Offering a sincere apology would mean admitting fault, and that can be unbearable for someone whose ego is tied to feeling superior or in control. Instead, they turn the tables, making you seem overly sensitive or dramatic. In Buddhist psychology, the inability to accept reflects a lack of true attachment to ego and compassion. When someone hurts you and doesn't acknowledge it, they're prioritizing their image over your pain. This is especially common among those who, deep down, feel competitive or envious. They might care about you on some level, but their unresolved feelings prevent them from treating you with the honesty and respect you deserve. The pain of this pattern is that it makes you question your own perception. You start to think, Am I making a big deal out of this? Am I the problem? This doubt is exactly what the person wants, consciously or unconsciously, because it keeps you vulnerable. While you blame yourself, they don't have to face their own shortcomings. It's a silent manipulation, but incredibly powerful. Over time, the absence of genuine apologies can erode trust in the relationship. You feel devalued, as if your feelings don't matter. Worse, you might start normalizing this behavior, accepting crumbs of affection instead of demanding respect. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us that every relationship must be built on truth and mutual responsibility. Without that, there's no true connection, just a facade hiding unresolved feelings. Protecting yourself from this pattern means learning to recognize a fake apology. A true apology comes with changed behavior, empathy, and an effort not to repeat the mistake. If the person only offers empty words, or worse, blames you for feeling hurt, you're dealing with someone who isn't ready to treat you with the respect you deserve. That's a clear sign that something deeper like envy, resentment, or insecurity is at play. You deserve relationships where your feelings are validated, where your mistakes are forgiven with the same generosity you offer. Don't settle for less. If someone can't offer a heartfelt apology, it might be time to question whether they truly deserve such a close place in your life. Your peace is worth more than any relationship that makes you feel invisible. Before we close, I want to speak to something that might be weighing on your heart right now. Realizing that someone you love or value, a friend, a family member, a close colleague, may not feel the same way about you is one of the quietest pains we can face. It's like discovering that the connection you thought was so strong was, in reality, fragile or even false. This realization hurts because it makes us question not just the relationship, but our own worth. Know that feeling this pain isn't weakness. It's a sign of your sensitivity and your openness to love. And more importantly, you're not alone in this. Buddhist psychology teaches us that suffering comes from our tendency to cling to things and people, expecting them to meet our expectations. But when someone close doesn't return your affection the way you hoped, it doesn't mean you're less worthy of love. On the contrary, your ability to feel, to connect, to offer your energy is a powerful strength. The problem isn't in you, but in the other person's inability to receive and honor what you offer. Sometimes, their envy, resentment, or insecurities create a wall that you can't don't need toter down. Protecting your energy is an act of self-love, especially when you realize that certain people drain you more than they nourish you. This doesn't mean you need to hate or immediately cut these people out of your life. Sometimes they're just not ready to vibe on your frequency, and that's okay. The important thing is to learn to direct your light toward those who truly value it, who see you clearly and celebrate your existence without reservation. Your energy is like a precious flame. It doesn't need to dim others to shine, but it shouldn't be smothered by someone who can't appreciate it either. It's natural to feel sadness or even anger when you realize someone you care about doesn't feel the same. Allow yourself to feel that. Don't blame yourself for investing love, time, or trust in someone who didn't know how to reciprocate. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that every experience, even the painful ones, is an opportunity for growth. These unbalanced relationships are like teachers in disguise. They teach you to listen to your intuition, recognize your worth, and choose more carefully who gets to be in your inner circle. A practical tip is to start observing how you feel after interacting with these people. Does your energy rise or drain? Do you leave the conversation feeling lighter or with a weight in your chest? Your body and soul are incredible guides, and they always know when something's off. If you feel like you need to justify yourself, shrink yourself, or try too hard to keep a relationship alive, it might be time to step back. It's not about abandoning those you love, but about respecting yourself enough to stop seeking affection where it's not freely given. Remember, you can't change someone else's heart, but you can protect your own. That means setting boundaries with kindness, but firmness. It means choosing to share your stories, dreams, and vulnerabilities with those who truly embrace you. And above all, it means trusting that you're worthy of deserving relationships that strengthen you, inspire you, and make you feel seen and loved. Don't settle for anything less, because your energy is sacred. and it deserves to be shared with those who honor it. Finally, let me leave you with this. The way others treat you never defines who you are. If someone doesn't value you as you deserve, that's a reflection of their limitations, not yours. Keep being the generous, authentic, radiant person you are. Keep spreading your light, because the world needs it. And little by little, you'll attract the right people, those who will stand by your side with truth, respect, and a love that casts no shadows. Take care of your energy, because it's what connects you to your deepest essence. So, what did you think of these signs? Maybe while watching, you remembered someone or situations that brought you that discomfort. Know that you're not alone, and more importantly, you're not overreacting. Your intuition is a powerful compass, and these signs are clues that it's time to protect your energy and choose more carefully who walks beside you. Buddhist teachings remind us that true peace comes from within, but it also depends on being surrounded by people who respect our light, celebrate our growth, and treat us with honesty. It's not about cutting everyone out of your life, but about recognizing who strengthens you and who weakens you. Sometimes, the greatest act of self-love is saying no to relationships that hurt you quietly. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and give it a quick like. This helps get this message to more people who might need to hear it right now. And share below in the comments, which of these signs hit you the hardest? Or maybe share a story about how you realized someone wasn't as genuine as they seemed. Your experience could help someone else feel less alone. Thank you for being here, for being part of this journey of awareness and energy protection. Let's keep learning together to listen to our intuition, value our peace, and build relationships that help us grow. Until the next video, take care of your energy, because it's your greatest treasure.